Is the Darnell Nurse era in Edmonton officially over? Look, we've heard the trade rumors for years, but this time it's not just fan speculation anymore. According to NHL insiders, the Oilers are ready and willing to move on from their $9.25 million man this offseason. General Manager Stan Bowman is reportedly sitting down with Nurse to discuss his future, and the writing is on the wall. The Oilers want a breakup, but with a massive contract and full no movement clause, can they actually pull it off, or is this destined to turn ugly? Holy crap! So many questions. Will he move his no movement clause? If so, where will he go? What went wrong in the first place? If the Oilers do pull this off, how much will they have to overpay? What teams would even want Darnell Nurse? How much would the Oilers most likely have to retain? A lot of questions, a lot of freaking questions going into this one. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. I'm getting ready to go to Toronto, actually. First time in Toronto. Let's go, baby. And then all of a sudden this broke. Yeah, I have to talk about it. If you're new to the channel, you already know what to do. Thanks for all the continued support, guys. Leave a like, subscribe. We're on the road to 10K subs. That would be sick. And drop a comment down below. I read and interact with every single one. It's a sponsored segment right here on Above Average for every video, brought to you by www.timetrackers.ca, where they work around the clock for you. If you drop a comment right now, and if it gets the most likes, I'll be giving it a shout out in my next video. So I read and interact with every single one. If you don't believe me, just give it a go. I'm very, very curious, guys. What team seems to be the best fit? What team do you think, that is the question of the video, what team do you think will take Darnell Nurse on? Bring him in, bring his contract in, and everything in between. Let me hear it. I'm very, very curious. There's speculation of San Jose. That's like the one that's been mostly reported that I've heard on Twitter. David Pagnotta from the Fourth Period, he's said that quite a bit. But I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. So first off, Trev, how do we know this, Trev? Well, Mark Spector, he covers the Oilers for Sportsnet, and he just wrote an article saying Darnell Nurse and the Edmonton Oilers are headed for a breakup. The clock is ticking on the veteran defenseman's time in Edmonton, with Nurse holding all the cards for one more season before his current no-trade clause morphs into a 10-team list to which he can be dealt. Conversations with several current and former employees all lead to the same place. The Oilers are ready and willing to trade Nurse as soon as they are able. Sources confirm that Oilers GM Stan Bowman will be speaking with Nurse in the coming days about his wishes. If Nurse, who's 31, says he wants to be an Oiler for another season, then trade talk will be shelved and the team will welcome him back for one more year when he realizes that a trade is imminent. However, two sources have told Sportsnet that the Oilers' preference would be to move Nurse before the start of next season. Nurse declined an invitation to comment on this story, while Bowman stated that he would not speak to media before meeting with the player, and likely not afterwards either. So that's very, very interesting. I'll just say, if Darnell Nurse stays for another season, it's going to be his worst season as an Oiler. I think he's a smart man. After it. Oh, yeah, and that shoulder. Maybe not. Well, actually, I think he's a smart man. I don't think he's a smart hockey player. I actually think that's one of his worst attributes, is his hockey IQ. But, you know, off the ice, I really don't know. I'm assuming he's a decently smart man. And I think the writing is on the wall. I think he knows what's at stake here. I think, obviously, he knows going into, if he decides to not waive his no movement clause, then next year he could be traded to 20 other teams, right? Is it 10-team protected, or what is it? To a 10-team list. Yeah. So what would you rather want? To have a say to wherever you want to go in the NHL, or to have a say with only 10 teams, right? I know what I would do, and I certainly think I know what he would want. That's for sure. But not only that, I mean, it's just every time this guy touches the puck, and that goes into what went wrong with Darnell Nurse. Well, it was season after season after season. He's just never been able to live up to that contract. And after one season, you know, which goes into another, all that, you know, that the media, the articles, the interviews, the post-game scrums that he's in, the fans just ripping on him. It's just led to him being a shadow of himself, who he once was. And I've said this before, I said it, I'll say it again. This is Darnell Nurse's first ever goal. Watch this.
Eric Reiber was saying one thing about playing with a consistent partner is you get to know his voice. His Nurse makes a shot, and it goes off the boards and in. That puck is in off the bar, and Darnell Nurse after it. Oh, yeah, and that shoulder.
Where's that guy? I remember that goal so well, and I was like, holy crap, thank God the Oilers finally have a wicked defenseman. He's going to have such a bright future. The future was so bright. Connor, Leon, McDavid, and then, yeah, he just became the punching bag. And I will, it's not fair to say rightfully so, but also, like, his play, it never really just was great. He never could live up to that contract, and that contract was kind of a burden ever since he signed that. Zach Werenski re-signed that summer. That was the summer of Miro Heiskanen, if I'm not mistaken. Zach Werenski, Cale Makar, and I think Seth Jones, they all re-upped, and that was the going price. So, of course, Darnell Nurse is like, well, I am the top D-man for this team. I want what they got, and he certainly did that. But I tell you, like, from the get-go, it never panned out, and here we are today. And so I guarantee, I'm calling it now, whatever team he does go to, he is going to be a completely different player. I 100% believe that. I think whether it's the Sharks, whether it's out east, I guarantee he's going to an American market, a market that's not too big, so he can just focus on playing hockey. And I guarantee he's going to be a completely different player, because he is just a shadow of himself, of who he once was. And he was never a $9.25 million player, but he also never was as bad as he is today. He wasn't. He was a solid $7 million guy when he signed that contract. And I remember saying, I'm like, he's a $7 million, but he's not even a $7 million defenseman anymore. Do I think he can be? Yes, I really, really do. I just think all the noise, all the articles, all the media, all the fans just ripping on him, I really do think it's gotten to him. Players, they say, oh, it doesn't bug me. No, it does. It does get to them. And you can tell, like, when Darnell Nurse has the puck, especially this season, I shouldn't say especially, it's been the last few seasons, but this season, I will just say it was his worst season. He did nothing. He really just had zero confidence. That's all it was. Zero confidence. He would get the puck, and there was a few things he would do. He would rim it around the boards as fast as he possibly can, which usually led to an icing. Or he'd get it behind the net, he'd pass it to wherever, Connor Murphy, freaking Troy Stetcher when he was there. He didn't want the puck. You could tell it was a hot potato. He had zero confidence. And I look at that first goal he ever scored, I'm like, God damn it. Like, look at him, that powerful stride that he has, that wicked booming shot that he had. I have not seen Darnell Nurse skate with the puck in so long. He just, as soon as he gets to where he can ice at the blue line, he ices that, or he doesn't ice it, he clears the puck. He doesn't want it. He just, okay, I'm going for a line change. He does not have any confidence at all. And so that's why I think he's a smart guy. I think that he knows, like, this season, it's only going to get worse for him. I really, like, here we are, and every season I'm like, oh, come on, Darnell, like, maybe, this is the year. No, it's never going to be that way, and it's not going to be that way going into next season. Even though the Oilers, if they do keep Connor Murphy, that definitely stabilized him, but that's the problem. And the problem is in that sentence. You should not be needing a guy to stabilize your $9.25 million defenseman. And that's the thing. Who can work it? Evan Bouchard? No, we don't want that, which is crazy because those two combined are like $20 million on the blue line. But yeah, he really just doesn't have any confidence. So, and I remember as well, it was a gold medal game, 2015, Team Canada in the World Juniors going up against Team Russia. And he won player of the game, man. And that's when the Oilers already had him, had drafted him. And he was repping the C and Sault Ste. Marie. And I was like, oh, let's go, baby. Darnell Nurse. He just won player of the game for Team Canada with the best of the best. You got Connor McDavid. You've got Curtis Lazar. All the Max Domi, the Anthony Duclair, wicked team. and he won player of the game. He was just ferocious. He was so hard to play against. He was physical. I remember in the third period, one play in particular, just dummying guys. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy is the next coming of Chris Pronger. I know, pump the brakes a little bit. Not really, but like a lowercase Chris Pronger. That's what I was expecting. Offense, physicality, big guy. That's kind of Chris Pronger, right? So a lowercase Chris Pronger was my expectations. And it never worked out. He never lived up to the hype. He never could, shut out the noise. He let it get to him, which is fair. I think it would get to anyone. I think it got to Stuart Skinner. He's human. He's human. So obviously it's going to get to him. So that's what went wrong. Where did it all go wrong? The price from day one, 9.25, he was never going to live up to it. And being in a Canadian market, that's what went wrong. And when you start sucking, it's a trickle down effect. It's a snowball effect. You start sucking more. And that's all I don't want to say that, but he struggled mightily. So a change of scenery is going to be so huge for him, and it's about damn time. And I think he realizes that. Even at the World Championships, I think he looked a lot better playing for Team Canada. He did okay. He was chipping in on a few of the goals there, even though he always does like to lay down, which is how they lost, Team Canada, to whoever they lost to. Norway, was it? He just lays down on 2-on-1s and looks like a freaking goof. But so now is where? I don't know where. I think the bigger question maybe is like what? Like what are they going to get in return? What are they going to overpay? Like you got to think Andrew Mangiapane and what was it, a first for Jason Dickinson? They had to give up a first to move that contract. It's going to be interesting. I will give a huge shout out. I love this trade because also just breaking now is Detroit, Dylan Larkin, the captain. He requested for a trade. That's kind of interesting. But huge shout out to Kevin McCurdy. This guy's an absolute beauty. I know him decent. I like to think I know you, Kev, decently well if you're watching. But how about this for a trade, he said. And if the Oilers could do this, they're back in it, baby. That would be sick. But there's already speculation that they're linked to Sebastian Cossa, their goalie in the minors. Dylan Larkin, Cossa for Nurse, Howard, 2026 second. The pick, he says, can be tweaked, but Howard is a first rounder, which is true. I guarantee it would probably have to be a first, their 2028 first that they have. Nurse, Howard, and a 2028 first for Larkin and Cossa. I think that makes the Oilers, for sure, right now, significantly better. That's an interesting trade. But what are your guys' trade requests? Where do you think he could go? Like I said earlier, apparently San Jose, there might be interest there, as reported by David Pagnotta from the fourth period. So it's going to be interesting to see. But I will say it's bittersweet. You got to feel for the player. He had a hell of a run, kind of. I say that with a little bit of hesitancy. I'm hesitant to say that, I should say, just because it wasn't really a hell of a run. The team had a hell of a run, but yeah, he struggled. Like I said, Nurse, he holds all the cards for one more season before his current no-trade clause morphs into a 10-team list to which he can be dealt. So obviously, he wants to have a say now. He has a say now. And then next season, he doesn't have nearly as much of a say. So it's going to be interesting. What are your guys' thoughts on all this? I'm fascinated. I'm getting ready to go to Toronto, baby. Let's go. And what is your favorite Darnell Nurse memory?
After it. Oh, yeah, and that shoulder.
I'll go, you know what my favorite Darnell Nurse memory is? Back in 2016. What was this guy's name? I think it was Roman Polak. It has to be Roman Polak, right? Oh, yeah, Roman Polak. That's my favorite memory of Darnell Nurse. I remember he got suspended for 1 or 2 games after, I forget what Polak did. Maybe it was a hit on someone. But he just, boom, and it just suckers him. He just falls, blood everywhere. That's my favorite Darnell Nurse memory. And then as of like the last few years, guys, like that's the thing. Like there's been no real, he hasn't had his big playoff moment. He hasn't had a huge, crucial, wicked defensive play that's helped the Oilers in the final and the playoffs as a whole. He hasn't had a huge goal either. Like, that's the thing. Everyone's had their moment except for Darnell Nurse. And it's sad. It's sad that we're at this point. It's sad that it came to this. But because it has came to this, I think he realizes it was a good run for the team, not so much him, which is exactly why he wants to go. And I think it only makes sense at this point. So what are your guys' thoughts? Drop a comment down below. Thanks for all the continued support, guys. Really, really appreciate it. I'll be getting this video out later today. But like I said, the most liked comment in my previous video gets a shout out. Gets a shout out. It was on Mitch Marner, and it did pretty good. I got a lot of new subs in this video, so thanks to all the new subs. Let's see, the most liked comment in my previous video looks to be from huge shout out to Human Action 76. This is why Edmonton wants Bruce Cassidy. The system he built in Vegas is winning, and that system could unlock McDavid before he leaves town. That got 19 likes and 9 replies, so huge shout out to Human Action. Not sure if I really agree with that, but this video is already long enough. I won't get into that. So thanks, guys. What are your guys' thoughts? Drop a comment down below. Like I said, I read and interact with every single one. I'm on my way to YYZ. Is that what it is? I'm on my way to Toronto. Going to watch some Blue Jays ball, baby. Let's go. Thanks for all the continued support. Don't be average when you can be above average. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.